Act 2, Scene 4, outside Macbeth's castle. Enters Ross with an old man. So for the beginning of this scene, it's really, really important to focus in on the pathetic fallacy, the elements of the strange occurrences in nature and among the animal kingdom as well. The old man says, 70 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sore night hath trifled former knowing. So I'm 70 and I've seen some things, but I have never seen anything like this before. And 70 is a big age in the Shakespearean canon, so, you know, he's seen a lot. Ross says, good father, thou seest the heavens, as troubled with man's act, threatens this bloody stage. So what he's saying is the heavens have reacted to the behaviour of this of man's act, and it is acting accordingly. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Great quote there for learning. So by the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. So the travelling lamp is the sun, and it has been strangled by darkness. It is the light's predominance, or the day's shame, that darkness does the face of earth and tomb, when living light should kiss it. So we are encircled and entombed by darkness, when it really should be bright outside. So heaven is having a reaction, a visceral reaction to the murder of this king. The old man says, here's more unnatural activity. 'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon towering in her pride of place was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed. So that's highly, highly unnatural. And there was a lot of reference to the unnatural in the last scene when Macbeth himself talked about the unnatural gashes on Duncan's golden body. And it's important as well, you know, there's animal imagery, but the falcon is a bird of prey. It shouldn't be able to be murdered by a mousing owl. You know, in the animal kingdom, there's a hierarchy, but it's this idea that the owl has killed the falcon, in the same way as the king would have been the falcon, and somebody underneath him has killed the king. So everything has kind of been turned on its axis, and everything is highly, highly unnatural at the moment. And Ross says, and Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contended against obedience, as they would make war with mankind. So horses are going crazy as well. And the old man says, 'tis said they eat each other. So a nice way of putting that quote together would be Ross's beginning statement there of and Duncan's horses, and just go ... And the old man's statement there, 'tis said they eat each other. So like a highly unnatural cannibalistic act, the horses eating each other. Ross says, they did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Now enters Macduff. Here comes the good Macduff. How goes the world, sir, now? Macduff says, well, you see it not. Ross, is it known who did this more than bloody deed? And Macduff says, well, those that Macbeth hath slain. So apparently it was the Chamberlains. Alas the day, what good they pretend. Macduff says, they were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's 2 sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts them in suspicion of the deed. So the fact that both sons have absconded has sort of put the kind of highlight or the spotlight on them as perhaps having gotten the Chamberlains to do it, or having some kind of part in the deed. Ross says, against nature still, thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own life's means, then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth. So here you have it. All hail, Thane of Glamis, all hail, Thane of Cawdor, all hail, Macbeth shalt be king hereafter. So this idea now that Macbeth is actually next in line for the throne, because the boys have actually absented themselves from the scene. Malcolm had been named successor. Now he would have still had to go through a process. The Thanes would have had to vote him in. However, because he has absconded, now suspicion lies upon him. So Macbeth is next in line because he was a far out kinsman. Macduff says he is already named. So, yeah, they didn't hang around. He's actually already named. And he's gone to Scone to be invested. So, Scone is where the coronation would be taking place, and they would have all been invited, all the Thanes. And Ross, and where is Duncan's body? Macduff says, carried to Columkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors, and guardian of their bones. And Ross asks, and will you to Scone? No, cousin. I'll to Fife. That's important. Macduff isn't going to attend the coronation. Somewhere there he is feeling suspicious. And it's a massive slant and insult to not attend the coronation once he's been in. He's an important Thane in Scotland. In fact, he's just not going. He's going home. He's going to the Fife. That's where he lives. He's the Thane of Fife. Ross, well, I will, Heather. I'm going. Macduff says, well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old robes sit easier than our new. So, well, hope the best for you there. I'm going to say good luck now, say goodbye, before our old robes sit easier than our new. So things are not easy. And we do have a lot of clothing images here as well. So perhaps this new reign isn't going to sit as well as the old reign. Farewell, Father, Ross says. And the old man says, God's benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad and friends of foes. And that is the end of that scene. Just really, really importantly, a couple of things. There were lots of really important references to pathetic fallacy and the unnatural and animalistic imagery, and that all of that is really, really important for using in an essay to show how the country of Scotland is having like a physical response to the murdering of the beneficent and the brilliant King Duncan. And we're also seeing suspicion here with Macduff. First of all, in the last scene, he asks, why did you kill them? Very publicly, he questions he questions Macbeth. That's important. But also we see here, he's not attending the coronation, suggesting in neon signs that he does not necessarily think that it was the Chamberlains, because he's not attending the coronation, and that is a massive slant and a massive insult. Okay, so that concludes Act 2.